are listening to Keith Price's Curtain Call. This is Keith Price, and we are back for the Curtain Call, and it's a very exciting time here. I have to say to Andrew Leeds and Lindsay Kraft, who are waiting on deck right now, that they are my first phoners.
Oh. Well, very excited to be your first phoners.
Well, interviews anyway. Hey. Anyway, so... And I have them here because, as you know, Samuel French had their big off-Broadway short play festival, and I had the pleasure and the privilege of being able to see the final 12 that were then whittled down to the big 6 that made it to being published in the anthology that's going to be coming out sometime soon, I hope. And Andrew Leeds and Lindsay Kraft wrote I think one of the funniest pieces. There were 2 really, really funny pieces that got picked, and I was so glad because being a comedian, I enjoy the laughter. Man, this piece called The Wedding Bash, y'all are not ready for the insanity that ensued in this piece. And I have to tell you, it was done brilliantly, first and foremost. So you guys, kudos for that. I have to say to that. And Andrew and Lindsay, so the story basically is that some people went to a destination wedding, and they weren't happy about it. Now,
that is it. Yeah.
So the question then is who brought that idea to whom before you started writing?
Well, we had been to we're a couple, and we had been to I think 8 weddings over the course of like 4 months, and we were pretty upset about a lot of them. And Lindsay said to me, she said, "I think we should write a play about this." And then she pestered me to finally sit down and do it with her. And I'm glad she did.
Yeah, I've been exaggerating for a long time. I've been saying we'd gone to 20 weddings one summer, and Andrew kept on correcting me, saying it was just 8. And so, but it felt like 20.
Andrew Leeds and Lindsay Kraft with me here on the Curtain Call. And you know what's so funny? The piece itself, the setup was beautiful. How it starts, it's 2 people talking about their fabulous wedding, and then their 2 friends come in, and they seem to agree that the weddings were really great, and then they don't. And
that's what we found, is that the more that we hated a wedding, the more that we would tell people that we loved it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So then the question is that how many of your friends are mad at you that you went to these destination weddings and basically took pieces of that and put it in this play?
Well, yeah, there are people. There is several couples that this was like particularly based on, and we were very scared when they saw it. We had performed it once in Los Angeles, and They came and they didn't say anything. They just thought it was great, but we were just dying the whole time thinking that they knew.
And then we had other friends that it wasn't based on that were sure that we were talking about them, but we actually weren't. So
we feel like it's a service announcement for weddings. That's what we think.
The thing I loved the most about that whole piece was that in the end, you pretty much summed up the energy that most folks have when they go to destination weddings. Because I had a friend of mine who she wanted people to go to Costa Rica for her wedding. And I was like, baby, that's not in my budget. It's like, I'm glad y'all are in love and thrilled about being in Costa Rica, but that's not in my budget. I can't do that. And
then we always say, if we were to have a wedding like that, we would have to pay for everything, like everyone's flights, everyone's hotel accommodation.
Yeah, now we can't get married because we know that our standard is too high. We really, and actually, a good friend of ours, one of the actors in the piece, is getting married, and he actually is very reluctant to have us at his wedding.
Oh,
because he knows we're going to be judging it the whole time.
Well, you know what? Then don't take the part. See,
I will say I think a large part of why I'm so happy to hear you enjoyed it. I think a large part of why it worked so well is that cast we had. It's such a good cast.
They were perfect. They were absolutely perfect. And again, one of the things about the piece that I think is really, really great is that it is a quick hit. You guys managed to walk into this. You created everything that you needed to create, to set it up, to give it a punch, to have a little pathos go on, and at the same time, you ended on a high note, and I applaud that because that's kind of hard to do in 15, 20 minutes. Like, what's your I know that you, Andrew, are a Groundlings person, and
Yeah.
and for you, Lindsay, I mean, you're everywhere. You're just doing everything. And the best part about it is that it moved like a sitcom. Is that because of the training that you guys have?
That's a good question. I mean, we originally wrote it for this. We do this charity event every year here for breast cancer awareness called Snapshots.
Uh-huh.
And one of the winners last year of the Sam French Festival, Gloria Calderon-Kellett, she basically writes a bunch of pieces for this thing called Snapshots. She brought us into that, and then she's actually the person that told us to send this into to Sam French as well. But so we wrote it for that, and that is sort of like a night of one act, and it definitely has a more of a, not a sitcom feel, but definitely like a comedic tone to it that, and usually it just takes place in one set. So in a way it does feel like a traditional sitcom, I guess, in a certain way. And that's probably more why it's like that. And maybe just because our sensibility is that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it sort of forces you not to be that dark, or to be not too super sad, because it's a charity for breast cancer. They look really, they can cry at a moment because they're moved, but not because they're scared.
Or upset. But no, I actually hadn't, when we were writing this, I hadn't been doing Groundlings in a while, but I've written a lot of pilots, a lot of TV pilots. Yeah. And so I think that probably comes into play in some way. And I don't know. Yeah, it just sort of, I don't know. I don't really know how it became that way. We both saw it very clearly from the beginning, like what it was going to be and what it was going to feel like. And I just think I don't know.
And I feel like we've always talked about this idea of whether or not we can tell our friends the truth.
Right.
And so that to us is kind of the bigger picture about all of it.
Well, certainly
no.
Well, no, but I mean, you can't. But I think that what was so fabulous is that is really the crux of this whole piece. Is like, what do you do when you tell your friends the truth? I mean,
right.
It was, and how they have to accept the fact that, maybe you guys aren't as fabulous as you think you are. It's like,
yeah, well, and that's sort of also interesting to me too. Is like, especially watching it this time. We did it 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It seemed like pretty clear to me watching it that Alan and Edie, the friends, were sort of in the right.
Yeah,
right.
But when we watched it this time around, I don't know why, it just felt like a little bit more balanced. It felt like, well, maybe they're being real assholes for telling their friends the truth here. Maybe they just keep their mouth shut. So
we constantly see and at every moment in all four of the characters, I see both myself and Andrew almost in every line, where I'm like, I go back and forth, like, I'm a good person, but I'm also a bad person.
Well, you know what? I think what it is that we always have this need, I think, to try to make other people feel better, even though it makes us feel like crap. And sometimes, I think because I look at it from the sensibility of being a little bit older than the two of you, that, after a while, you just kind of don't give a shit. You're just like, listen, this sucked. It's like, you had me dragging me on a rock in fucking Arizona for what? Please. What the hell? Could we have not done this, like at Le Cirque or something? What's going on here?
That was to me, it wasn't even so much like it was not. A destination wedding should be in Hawaii if they're going to really go out.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it a destination wedding if it's in
Pittsburgh.
It's not where you live. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, but so I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's just more maybe our sensibility is what made it feel like that.
Yeah.
And I think just the I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure why it has that sort of feel to it. I guess it does more so than the other pieces that they chose.
Yeah, well, I mean, the one good thing I have to say about the Samuel French's off Broadway short play festival in the end is like, I love the fact that it started with 1,600 submissions, and so the fact that you guys even made it out of that 1,600 people pile,
miraculous.
It's miraculous. But I can almost tell, one of the things that I learned from one of the judges when I went to that first night was that the idea is that you had to look at what was on the page and have to you have to like watch the piece and think about what it looks like on the page, and being able to bring to be able to look at what's happening on stage and know that from the page it was already there. You know what I'm saying? Like
interesting,
you know, and that was one of the things. And you know, when I knew that going into that particular day, that was what I was using as my criteria to look at the pieces, even though, you know, no one asked me to judge, but you know, and I was there, and I that was one of the things that I thought about when I saw that piece, and it was like, and you know, I knew what the ending was going to be as soon as I started hearing numbers being calculated. I was like, but
yeah, right, yeah.
But it worked.
It's always fun to. What's that?
But it worked. It all worked.
It's fun to watch like we were sitting on the side, so we were able to watch the audience. It was fun to watch when people had the realization of that. Some people don't have it, and then some people as soon as they hear that number, they get it. It's fun to watch everybody sort of put it together, you know, and then you hope that he picks up the table and he does, you know.
But I mean, again, so have you guys written any other pieces together that you're thinking about submitting? Again?
Well, we would love to submit to the festival again. We had the greatest time. It was such a great experience, and the people that run it are all so incredible.
Incredible. But we can't submit because we won.
Once you win, you can't submit again.
Oh.
Yeah. So we actually do have another piece, so we'd love to submit.
I know we'd love to. We have a piece about. I'm in this piece where I'm introducing my boyfriend to my parents, and it takes place in a Chinese restaurant, and there's a lot of people talking at once, and it's
fun. It's a
really
fun piece.
Fun.
But no, unfortunately, that will be the last that we get to be a part of that festival, unfortunately.
Wow.
Do you know any other festivals we can
Yeah, festivals.
Well, that was my first time even being involved in any of it on any level, so I'm just thrilled to know that that's something that's happening every year. You know, like
how did you get involved? What made you come this year?
Well, you know, the thing is that as doing this work that I've been doing, I have made a lot of really great connections with lots of people. And the publicist that was running the publicity for Samuel French had said to me, you need to come and come check this out, because this is a really great thing. But, you know, because the podcast itself is generally about theater overall. It's not just Broadway, it's everything. And so I said to him, I go, that sounds like a fantastic idea. And so I said, yes, I would go. And so I met the director, Amy Marsh. I met her.
So lovely.
I knew Bruce Lazarus because I talked to him when I was at the other place, the executive director at Sam French. So I had an in going into that energy, and I was really just excited because, you know, it's great to see new pieces and new things being done. I mean, you know, one of the things about Broadway that's so exhausting is that, you know, how many more times are we going to see Hello Dolly? Although it is Bette Midler, but how many times? But how many times are we going to see stuff like that? And it's so nice to know that there's fresh things that are happening. So, Andrew, you know, I have to give you one more little shout out because you were also, you know, one of my little crushes. I'm not going to lie. When you were on Christella.
Oh, Christella. Okay, wow.
I have to say, I was like, he's really adorable. Who is this guy? Why do I not know who he is? And then your character was absolutely adorable. And, you know, again, I could see that you were about to have the moonlighting moment when you guys, before the end of the season, and then they canceled the damn show. So
I know.
So I was a little bit pissed about that. I'm not mad. You know, I'm going to go on with my life like you are. And it's great. And Lindsay, you know, again, keep an eye on your man because, you know, don't let him walk around too many gay boys because he'll get snatched. Anyway, so.
Yeah, you're not the first one.
That's the next play. Losing your cute boyfriend to the gay boys. You love the attention.
I'm very flattered.
Very cool. But again, Andrew Leeds and Lindsay Kraft, thank you guys so much for joining me. And again, the piece is called Wedding Bash, excuse me. And it is going to be a part of the Samuel French off Broadway's the Play Festival's anthology once it's coming out. And so when it does come out again, I hope I get a chance to talk to you guys again because you guys are, first of all, adorable, and the piece itself is hilarious. And you know, I'm dying to now know what other things you guys have under your sleeves that you're planning on using. So, you know, keep me informed. And again, you guys that are out there listening, this is an opportunity. You understand 1 out of 1,600 plays were put in this mix and they won. these guys won. So that means that there is an opportunity and there is a chance for those young playwrights that are out there now that are listening, that this is a chance for you to submit. You never know. It's like playing the
Submit to
lottery.
it. It's an amazing thing, and you never know. You submit every year, and
It was like the best weekend of our lives. We called it an adult field trip.
I love it. I love it. Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was
Thank
really great.
you.
Sure, thank you.
Good talking to you. I appreciate it. All the things you said.
And we will meet again. Especially if you come back to New York, we need to meet up again. So
Absolutely.
that'd be perfect.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Talk to you
guys.
soon.
And we
Bye.
are going to be right